All right. Got it.
Got it. All right. So let's kick off this meeting with the right vibration, and let's start off with some wins. Who wants to go first?
Since we're recording now, 4:30 a.m. I've started doing my lesson 1, just going through the whole workbook, and then after that, working out in the morning and getting my day started. It's made a humongous, you know what it is? I've got a lot more energy. And it's the people around me that have noticed it. I've had it called to my attention twice so far. I've only been doing it a couple days, but I'm telling you, they've said to me, like, what are you doing? Because you seem like more alive, more energy. So it's made a huge impact.
Awesome. Heather?
So for me this week, I think it's been pushing through and getting more done. And I think that in keeping up with the accountability, I think that's been really good as well. But yeah, working through and getting things done that I had been avoiding. So that's been really good for me.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I think, for me, I think my win, I took a little bit of a dip in what I was doing, my studies, and it's like, I know you shouldn't go beyond 2 days without doing that, and I went 2 days, and I'm back on it today, so that's kind of like a win, just getting back on it again. I know success is not a straight shot to the mountain. You're gonna have like little dips here and there. But as long as, I look at it as like, as long as you just get back right on track, get back into it, and just start growing. So that was kind of my win for this week. With my other business, I was just a crazy week this week. I got over a six-figure job, a couple of six-figure jobs that I'm working on right now, and just managing it. So like I said, I took a little bit of a dip into my PGI. So yeah, I'm back on it again.
Yeah, that's good. Being aware of what's going on and getting back to it. Yeah. Building the consistency. All right, that's cool. My wins then. Here we go. I signed a client this week. Yo.
The man.
Awesome.
Yep. Cool.
I love it.
So signed a client. I have 2 prospect calls. Actually, one's tomorrow. I held a webinar last week, and one of the people on the webinar is doing a prospect call with me tomorrow. Had another one early in the week. She probably isn't going to be a TR client. She's probably going to be an accountability coaching client. And I got 3 referrals today from one of my clients who's a super referrer, and he came up with 3 today, which is crazy.
Dude,
and yes, I watched the roadmap twice this week. Took some more notes from Doug and actually wrote out what he does. A list of those elements of the goal. What are they all? The list of things that he said, right? Which was the goal, the affirmation statement, the beliefs, the overcoming of fear, the script, and one other thing. So I actually created that the way he'd done it, which I'd never done before, which is interesting. So had a productive week, and thanks to Heather, my accountability partner, I did things that I said I would do each day, which I wouldn't have done without you. Thank you, Heather.
Love the energy. Love the energy. So yeah, it's like just with the map notes, what Corey and I discussed was just more on, from what I've seen on the first one, just getting that schedule down, nailing that schedule and being consistent with it. The call and contact and the studying, the sales presentation, the working on the sales, studying the sales, just trying to really focus in on that, honing in on that. That's just that schedule, getting that routine down. I know some people don't like to hear routines. Maybe just, I don't know if there's another better word for it if you don't like routines, if someone else could has a
So the funny thing about routines is people don't like a routine, but if they examine what they're doing, they already have a routine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Yeah.
It's a great thought. It's part of the paradigm, that
that's
routine.
Good.
Absolutely.
That's a really good answer to people that say I don't like routines. Yeah. You already got one. That's so good.
Yeah. So, so like one of the routines you can ask them is like, how often do you hit snooze when you wake up? That's a routine right there.
Listen, one routine that I'm seeing a lot more lately, and I guarantee you, if you guys go and you're around people and you just sit and watch people, I'm telling you, people are scrolling their life away. It's just constant Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, social media, whatever. And it's just like, just to have an interaction with someone is growing slowly obsolete from what I'm surveying. When I watch how people interact with each other, when you walk into a room full of people, it's like that's what people are doing habitually in uh, a ritual. It's something that they do constantly, and maybe they're conscious of it, maybe they're not. I would say most of them are not, but it's either you're using the platforms for your benefit or they're using you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a good thought. I sometimes say to people, based on lesson 5, are you bringing the circumstances into your mind by scrolling and being obsessively reading what's out there? Or are you consciously creating your results and your circumstances by projecting your thoughts into the world? So yeah, with scrolling and taking stuff in on social media and other media, we are drawing into our mind the outside world constantly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's another one I had this week. I did hit up Facebook Live this week. So just try to,
My man.
yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
I
good.
did that this week. I want to, that's one of the routines I want to get down, just try to hit that Facebook Live at least 3 to 4 times a week, because eventually, we're all going to be, speaking publicly. And they says like by going on Facebook Live, that's a great start, a great platform to start on to get used to speaking to live people or in front of people. So
yeah, that's good. That's part of lesson 1 in the Business Builders, week 1 of Business Builders. Go live 3 times a week.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So just
Well done.
just trying to implement that into that routine, but just posting something every single day on social media. Stuart, I know you asked about how to gain more marketing. And I know you mentioned having clients kind of review. Did that work out for you?
So yeah, when I was putting that question into the group, I just wanted to kind of get feedback, what other people's ideas and thoughts around it are, because what I'm trying to do right now is I'm gonna increase my business, grow my business, so I can regularly get 1 client a month, and my goal right now over the next 6 months is to double that to 2 clients a month. And I realize that I've got to show up on a different or have a different lead generation system to attract more clients, because the way I'm doing it is get me what I'm getting. So I need to add something to it. So what I'm looking at doing is, how do I raise my profile? How do I show up? Where am I going to be doing something more and different? So what I'm looking at then as a result of all this is focusing on LinkedIn, putting out a newsletter, both on LinkedIn, but also to my email list, and beginning to show up more regularly so that I'm getting more attention. And then as I focus on starting a group in January, having that landing page ready for people to go to, that call to action to a landing page where they can learn more about what the group will be, what Thinking into Results is, but just beginning to have that intention of starting a group, having 6 people start a group in January, and what do I need to do to engage with enough people to be able to fill that group. So that's what I've been building, right, Heather, with you this week. My focusing on LinkedIn. I wrote my first newsletter today, but it's not going out yet. And that's what I was just trying to get some sounding so that I know this stuff, but I need to focus my mind. I need to keep hearing it and hearing it and hearing it and getting reassurance or reaffirmed, so that my mind takes it on board, my subconscious accepts it, and I actually start doing it. So yeah, that was helpful for everybody that was pitching in there.
If you don't mind me asking, how often do you and Heather talk as accountability partners? Is it every day?
Well, we had one Zoom call, didn't we, Heather?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
and that sort of got us knowing each other, and we talked about our weaknesses and what we were aiming for, also sort of where we've come from, and then just agreed how, you know, we would show up for each other and where we would need, you know, a kick up the butt, basically.
Okay.
so
All right.
we're swapping WhatsApp messages once or twice a day.
Okay.
The basic idea being, and because of the time difference that we're in, we're a 12-hour time difference, we are saying what we're going to do today, and then at the end of the day, what we did and what we're going to do again tomorrow. So just sharing WhatsApp messages every day of what we're doing and what we did. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Because I wasn't sure, you know, because Corey and I are the accountability partners. I just wasn't sure how often we should be interacting. You know, because I'm still kind of, you know, the whole accountability thing, I'm still new to it. So, you know, I just want to, you know, just trying to get your feedback on how to really go implement it the best way to implement the accountability.
And there's no right or wrong way, is there? It's what works best for us to support us in what we're up to. What, you know, what are you up to? What are you doing? What do you want to notice that you are doing and not doing? What works best for us to be able to do that. So for me, being able to tell somebody what I'm going to do, and whether I do it or not, by telling someone, there's that extra that extra support of accountability by telling Heather what I did at the end of the day. I didn't do that. Yeah, it's what works best for us, right?
Right.
Corey, what are you thinking? Let's ask Corey's thoughts on that.
I'm gonna be honest. I want to know. I want to pick Stuart's name. I want to pick your brain and pick Heather's, because I wanted to ask you both, in your opinion, what do you feel was the most effective way that you both locked in clients? Like, what type of avenue? What is it that you did where you're like, oh, like for example, you said earlier that you regularly get like one client a month. If you don't mind me asking, what is it that you're doing that you're able to do that on a monthly basis and you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, so that's the paradigm that I've eventually created around PGI. And there are three things that I typically do. So from one of the trainings, something that I chose to do was to speak on other people's stages. So I regularly do at least 2 presentations, 2 talks a month for a property training and education group in the UK. They have 50 clubs around the country. They meet once a month, and they need 2 speakers for each event. So I do 2 or 3 of those talks every month, and from that,
wow,
I get people coming interested. So I typically get something from that, and then referrals. Like one of my super clients who's been with me since 2016 referred 3 people to me today because he was talking about stuff today and he talked about me. So I get a lot of referrals and from former clients, and then networking, really just networking with people. I pick up people that way from time to time. So those are my 3 methods of attracting prospects: speaking,
that's really interesting,
network, and referrals. And referrals, once you get going, you'll find some clients just love to refer you, and so that's really great when that happens. But not everybody. Some
Heather,
people
do you have any input on that?
So for me, I am just coming back into this. So I've been off for the last 2 years on health issues. So I'm coming back, but the way I've been getting clients is probably through social media. I was doing a lot on there, so I'm just getting back into that with consistency. But actually sitting down with people and having conversations. Yes, I'm aware of the sales script and everything, but I'm very good at having conversations with people, and it may be sort of 2 or 3, but a great conversation and just diving deep in with them and telling them about my journey, and that tends to get them signing up. Sorry, let's turn that off. So yeah, I don't tend to do a sales pitch as such. It's just I do a go with the flow conversation with, you know, all my knowledge on board, and I do it very intuitively, and works every time for me. The sales pitch, I can find it a bit too wooden for me, for the type of person that I am and the people that I attract, because I'm not a corporate person at all. My background is very, very different, and my life now is very different even to that. So I relate more to this chatting, talking, and yeah, works a treat.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Heather. I do want to point something out. When I'm just gonna give you an example. When I'm doing my sales presentation that I've been doing lately, I'm gonna tell you this right now. How you're talking right now is what I'm trying to achieve, because the way that you're talking is very soothing, it's very relaxed, it's very persuasive, it's very comforting. And I absolutely love, I don't know if you're trying or you're not trying or you're just being you, but I just love the way that you're talking right now, because if I was in front of you and I had the means, I would 100% want to sign up with you, because the way that you just have a way of talking that's like you draw somebody in, and it's like, wow, I really want to hear what she has to say. I just feel like you connect with people the way that you present yourself, the way that you talk.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's the first sort of feedback I've had, so I appreciate that. When I was talking to Stuart on our video call, I said what I'm really aiming for is what I call the effortless way, you know, where things just come naturally and go with the flow. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of human design. I don't want to bog you down with that, but it's just something that may or may not interest you, but it's another fascinating world to look into and maybe combine in with how you run your business. But it's a rabbit hole, so don't go too deep. Just have a quick look and see. But it's helping you to understand you a little bit more, again, from a very different perspective. So I like the effortless way. It's very, very different to what a lot of what we're taught, but you introduce that and still combine it, you know.
It reminds me of like
'Cause
Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Yeah, yeah, I like him. Yeah, yeah. And enjoying it. And that's what I sort of said, you know, at the start. I think when I was doing this all for a start, and when I first did the map book and I was planning it all out, I stressed myself out completely trying to fit it all in and do it. And it became so rigid and no feeling, you know, no connection to it, no emotion involved. And I, you know, checked in with Stuart on a couple of things, you know, like the study, and am I getting bogged down with doing, you know, the video, the reading, you know, the writing out of the goal, like Todd is teaching us, the affirmations, the mirror work, and all of that. And yet I have to remember that it is 95% of the work. You know, that is what we should be doing 95% of the time to get the results. That's 95 and 5%, isn't it?
95,
One theory.
For the strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, and everyone's different, but yeah.
So I want to bounce.
So thank you for your feedback, Corey.
Yeah, I want to
you're
bounce
welcome.
off of that. Heather, The Effortless Way and Power of Awareness. That's a great chapter to read. It's chapter 14. I just have it open right now because I knew I heard that The Effortless Way before, and that's chapter 14 and the power of awareness. And I don't know if you're on the calls with Todd. He mentioned also, you know, don't try to fit that square peg into a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make it effortless, you know, and that was just like great advice. Because just like you, Mother, is like, I feel like sometimes it's almost forcing it. It's almost just, it can be you can try to force it to happen, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be fun. It should be a fun journey.
Yeah.
An enjoyable journey.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that, you know, for that insight, just to bring it back. You know, it's like, it should be effortless. It should be fun. It will be.
Yeah. It is. It is fun.
Exactly. It
It
is
is
fun.
fun. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I could start reading that a little bit, The Effortless Way. Because I've been reading the heck out of power awareness. I've been reading Subjective Control for about, I'd say about a month now, on top of auto suggestion, which I've been doing 90 days, almost 90 days now of auto suggestion, the chapter in Think and Grow Rich. You know, because I know Raj, he'd mentioned, you know, because I've listened to some of his podcasts, and he mentioned something about study. He goes, you can read a book, but you know, really study it. And when you know you have it studied and you have it down, is when you start implementing what the book is telling you or what the chapter is telling you. You know, that's why, you know, it's very important to keep on reading that over and over again to get that, you know, embedded in the subconscious mind and to implement it, you know, so it becomes a habit, you know, just like subjective control. You know, you want, like you mentioned, Corey, is like you see people scrolling their Facebook, you know, that's on their outer world. They're letting their outer world inside. They're not letting the inside create the results on the outside. So, you know, that's kind of how I've been just studying a little bit, you know, with everything right now. Try not to force it.
Yeah, if we're forcing it, we're going against the paradigm. If and the paradigm's always going to win.
Exactly.
So yeah, forcing the gates, right? Bob would
Yeah.
say. So
Don't
did you
follow up
start reading Subjective Control because of DP Gates and Todd's sales presentation? You know, is that where you picked up that a month ago?
Yes, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is that an actual book called Subjective Control?
No, it's
But
power awareness.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
chapter in it.
What
Yeah.
chapter is that?
Is it
12.
6? 12?
12.
12.
12.
Yep. Chapter 12 and chapter 14 is The Effortless Way.
Okay.
So that
I
was the
will.
book. Go on, Corey.
I just want to make a real quick comment because it hit me big time. I know we study this. I know we read this. I know we all love this. This is what we do as our business, but I just wanted to throw this out there. I had a big aha moment, and it happened when I was 10 years old, I was a national champion inline speed skater. And the aha moment was from you, David, telling me you wake up at 4:30 and you have a routine and even though I study every day, even though I read this and I read that and I do this and I do that, what was I doing to become a national champion inline speed skater? What was I doing? How did I become the best? Well, what I was doing was I was doing the same exact thing every single day. And I was perfecting what I was doing every single day. I would skate the same laps, I would do the same strokes, but I may push a little bit more this way and that way. I may bend a little lower. I may pass a certain way a little bit easier. I may give a little more power coming into the corners. Now, what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is when you, David, were telling me you woke up at 4:30, you started reading a lesson, and then you did this, and then you did that, and that was a routine, and you had it mapped out. When I woke up at 4:30 and I actually started doing this, it hit me, and I thought that's how I was the best because I was doing a routine over and over and over, and it got into my subconscious mind. And then when the races started, I knew I was the best. I knew I was untouchable. And that's how I need to get on the level with this business, with PGI. I have to get to a place where it's like, no, even if I don't want to do the sales presentation, even if I don't want to read the workbooks or watch the videos, it's got to be a routine, a commitment that's going to make the difference. Because I can know everything up here, but that doesn't matter. What matters is once it gets down to the subconscious mind and everything starts happening. I just want to let you know, David, that I approve. That happened when you said that you wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and I actually did it, and everything clicked for me. So now I don't think it's going to be a maybe I'll wake up every morning. No, it's like I know I have to do this, and I'm inspired to do it.
Awesome. I'm glad I could be some help, Corey.
I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, no, that's really good awareness. Just yeah, to create the routine where we're doing something every day because we want to do it, we want the result from it. And like you're saying, it then sinks into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind takes over, makes it easy and effortless and a habit. And we no longer have to think about doing it anymore. We're doing it. Yeah, it reinforces awareness for me. Yeah. So thanks
Absolutely.
for saying that way.
You know, like I think it was in one of the lessons, I don't remember what lesson, but Bob was mentioning, you know, Michael Jordan, the reason why he's the best at free throws, because he just sat there after practice or after a game, or just that's all he did. Free throws all the time. And that's how he perfected it. You know, Tiger Woods, you know, these top golfers, after they're done their match, they're out in the driving range hitting balls after they're done their match or throughout their game. They just perfect it every single day, you know, and that's kind of how I see it. But also, you know, I think you mentioned, Stuart, last weekend, or someone mentioned it, that you can do too much studying where you get in that habit of too much studying and not take action.
Yes.
So I know for me, you know, I've been doing a lot of studying, a lot of studying, and not enough action. There's not enough balance there.
Yep.
Because studying it feels comfortable and it feels great.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot easier to do than trying to find a prospect, calling people in your phone.
Exactly. Or even just going on
meeting.
Facebook Live. That's kind of,
Yep.
you know,
yeah, much easier to watch a lesson. Much easier to listen to Bob. Yeah, you know, and Doug makes that point, doesn't he? That you should really only be doing it an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But if you're doing it too much, if it's consuming most of your day, it's taking up too much time. Because we need to get into action. We need to start building the business. We need to start signing up clients.
And yep, go ahead, Stuart. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, and that's where Sandy leaves us in lesson 6. This is lesson 6, lesson 1, six steps, 6 action steps that move you closer towards your goal. She ends lesson 1 like that, right? And what are you going to be doing? What are the 6 things you're going to be doing to move towards your goal? Because this is an action planner.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the roadmap to break away, or just to add, you know, not get rid of your old paradigms, but override those old paradigms with new paradigms and new habitual habits. So yeah, so do you think, Stuart, I know Doug has mentioned, you know, like especially like in the first one, he did mention it's like on top of studying, you got to get to work.
Yeah.
So do you, you know, I understand you should be studying TIR. You know, is that, do you feel like studying TIR for about an hour and a half and then studying sales for about an hour?
So what I typically do is I have been for the last year or two on the 6 a.m. club, the UK and Ireland one. So just for an hour, watching one lesson, reading the workbook, and then just sharing the insights with someone or making notes for myself. So I don't look at TIR for more than an hour a day when I'm doing it.
Okay.
And then at the end of the day, you know, someone asked me the other day, hey, you need to watch this Killer Robots movie on Netflix. I said, I don't have Netflix anymore. He says, what world are you living in? I said, the world where Netflix doesn't consume my time. Yeah. Because otherwise I get hooked on it, right? So I did cancel it and stop watching the damn thing. So in the evenings, instead, I've programmed my mind to go, I don't have Netflix. Oh, because I'm meant to be watching something from the back office on our PGI website. So I'll go in and consume something, one of the sales trainings, or just look at maybe just for 15 minutes or half an hour to make sure that that's what I'm doing in the evenings. And yeah, sometimes I get bored. You know, I'll watch Todd's TIR facilitation, maybe for half an hour, or him and DP Gates, their sales one, which are great. I mean, I'll watch that over and over, but I'll only watch it for half an hour. I won't watch it all the way through. But just so that I'm absorbing something and just staying focused on the sales side.
Hope you don't mind me saying it. I think we're an anomaly because I don't watch any TV at all.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I sometimes feel a little bit kind of embarrassed telling people, but no, that's not true. It's yeah. You know, there's nothing wrong with entertaining yourself, but some people simply don't watch that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, not on a daily
Yeah, I
basis.
know.
Like, once in a while, I have a movie
Yeah.
night with my family, like on a weekend. But for the most part, it's like you, it's like I can't sit down and watch a series. It's like I just don't do that anymore. It's like one of those routines, at night. My kids are in the bed, and I come down here, my study office, and study something.
Yeah. So that's a great habit to get into, isn't it? Because we're just
Mhm.
always picking up something and getting better at something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where what you just said, Stuart, when people are talking about a movie or hey, did you see this or hey, did you watch that? I may not have any input, but I do have input when it comes to something that can help better their life. And I feel good about that. I feel really good about that. Because everybody can talk about the show, everybody can talk about the movie or what happened in the news or whatever. But at the same time, I've got something that can really help people and it's helping me. And that's why I love watching like you do. Just no TV, only watching stuff that's going to be empowering me, giving me more information, getting me further with what I'm doing. So I totally respect what you do.
Thanks.
I'm the
Yeah.
same.
It's
We don't
yeah.
have Netflix either, and since probably moving back to New Zealand, I don't even really watch the news either because it's just too negative, and I don't want to know all that shit that's going on out there. I
Don't need
really
to.
don't want I really don't want it in my life, so
Well,
I don't bother
if
with
it's
it.
bad enough, you're going to hear about it. So
Yep.
you don't need to worry
Yeah, people
about
talk about it,
it.
and they talk about, oh, did you see the program last night? I mean, I have to say that New Zealand television is absolutely awful, and the adverts are even worse. Um, so no, I don't watch any of that. So yeah, I even went sort of 3 years without actually having physically, a TV. It might have been longer actually. So yeah, but I think
Yeah.
YouTube goes on, and that's to watch, a better sort of bigger screen, to watch any sort of extra bits of Bob and any others, like that, Abraham Hicks, and so on. Yeah.
I just have to say, I'm so impressed by all three of you and the dedication that you guys have because I've always wanted to meet people that it's like I feel out of place around the environment of the people that I'm around because they don't do Abraham Hicks. No one would ever mention that. And that's something that I study religiously. So I just have a lot of respect for you guys because you take it seriously and you really dive in and get involved. And I really respect all of you guys and I'm glad to be here. I really am.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, it's interesting, Corey. Yeah, we are in a unique community. PGI consultants, pretty special group of people.
yeah,
We think
absolutely.
differently and speak
We're
differently.
here to, help ourselves and help the people around us, and the people that we're in contact with. That's our ultimate goal, is to help people and help the world, wake up the world to this information. Because like I think you mentioned, Corey, it's like you just listen to conversations that people are having. It's just like you scratch your head. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like I wish I could have, like, sometimes in a restaurant I hear people talking and it's like I just want to go up to them and just like, listen, it doesn't have to be this way.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
that's a paradigm I get over. One of these days I'm gonna go up to someone and say, hey, something? Do you have any goals? Because if you don't, I know how to get you one, and I know how to, have you achieve your goal.
it would be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. Just go up and just talk to people about it. Have you done that,
Yeah.
Stuart? Just go up and just talk to random people about it, and just not in so much ways, just kind of, it's like
No,
just
I don't
ask a
think I
couple
don't.
questions and
Yeah, in networking events or events where people are gathered. Yeah. I guess I did it at Starbucks once. I remember oh, there you go, memory. New Year's Day, Starbucks in Chandler, Arizona. And I just asked the barista what her goals were for the year. So what are your goals for the year? What are you up to? What are you going to create? So yeah, that was in a time when I was a bit more bolder in just talking to people. So I have done it. Yeah, I forgot about that.
You know, that could be another way of networking.
Joe?
You know, it's like, I know I got to implement that myself. It's like, it's easy to talk about it, but you know, it's like just something to implement. You know, just go out and just talk to people. Because I know Doug had mentioned that. Just go out and have a conversation with people. Like you, Heather, I'm sure it comes naturally to you.
And it does work. It's great. You know, I mean, sometimes it's a bit like tumbleweed passing through, you know, with people just aren't at that level and they're not ready for it, you know. When you ask them, you know, oh, what are you aiming for? You know, what are your goals? Or, you know, give them a different sort of perception on something. Yeah, sometimes a tumbleweed comes through, which is sort of even more amusing, you know, just for me. You know, I don't laugh out loud about it, but it's just interesting. I love watching people and seeing how they react and, you know, why they do what they do. It's always fascinated me. And yeah, so I always ask. I don't necessarily walk up to some random stranger
On the grocery store
and ask that. Just, but if I strike up a conversation with somebody new, then yeah, I just get chatting with them. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I was away this weekend to a bed and breakfast down at the Cape because I live in Massachusetts. And, you know, I asked, it was a bed and breakfast. So I asked, it's like, you know, I'm up really early in the morning. Do you mind if I come down here, you know, and just do my studying? They're like, oh yeah, that's no problem. You know, and they asked me, so what are you studying? And I freaking froze up. Mindset development. So I was very choppy. So that's something I need to work on a little bit.
Yeah, those opportunities show up, and yeah, we're not always ready for them.
It was a total opportunity to really get into what, you know, really get into what I know. I was aware of it right off the bat. And
it catches you off guard because you're in your head now and you're like, should I tell them about what I'm really studying? You know, can they handle this right now?
Yeah, you don't have the paradigm yet for speaking that. You have the paradigm, like Corey's saying, for questioning what I should say, whether I should say anything, whether I should open up. Yeah, that's the paradigm we have. But it's a great one to develop. Yeah, what do you say when that opening shows up?
Yeah, like I started writing down, just like talking to, like, say, you know, like a waitress or a waiter at a restaurant, just asking them. I started actually writing things down to ask them some questions. You know, if they don't have any goals, or do you really like what you're doing? Are you inspired to get up in the morning? No, if not, it's like, hey, I got something I can help you out with. You know, just that simple. You want to, here's my Facebook page. You know, sign up to my Facebook page. It could be something, you know, something that simple. I actually started writing down and started, you know, trying to rehearse that in my head.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, what's the call to action? Yeah, because you can engage them, and then, yeah, where do you take it? What's the next step?
Mm-hmm.
Give them a business card.
This.
They'll never call you.
There was a story, I don't remember exactly, with Bob, where he was just a fanatic. He was just an animal. He got pulled over one day and he like signed up the police officer that pulled him over. Like, to be able to literally, yeah, it's just the way that he's able to communicate with anybody and everybody. That's why when he says anybody's a prospect, when you're driving your car, look around, the prospects are everywhere. And it's just like, his ability to do that he's a master. It's amazing.
And I think the most important thing is to be yourself and not try and be somebody else, not try and be Arash and not try and be Doug and not try and be Bob. I think the thing is really just to go in and be yourself. You know, what do you do? I'll change people's lives for the better. Oh shit, yeah, how do you do that? And there you go, they've asked you, you're in. You know, just come up with something that's just going to get them to ask you, well, how do you do that? Because nobody's ever told them that before. They've never met anyone that has come out and boldly said, oh, I change people's lives for the better. You know, they're not going to go,
spot on. like spot on is like, no one's probably ever heard that. It's like, yeah, you know, whatever you want, I can show you how to get it. I'm a want creator.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. And some people sort of go because they don't know how to handle it, and they'll just go quiet and whatever, you just leave them with it, Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I always never heard that till I heard of Bob on YouTube. I was like, what do you want? I can get it for you.
I was listening to a coach in California this week doing a Facebook live. He's doing a special thing this month, and he said to one of the people in the hot seat, he said, "You know how you have dream catchers? A lot of people have, the Indian Native American dream catchers. Well, what we do here is we're dream makers." Well, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Dang.
But it's what do people respond to? What do we think we should say? And we can have that script, we can have that idea, but like you're saying, Heather, it's how do you want to be? How do you want to show up? How do you show up naturally in that conversation where you engage and people want to talk to you and they want to listen to what you've got to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Dave Brown and the other guy. It's always
Tom?
on like the I forgot what those are. The
community meetings,
Town
halls. Yeah.
the town halls. He's always mentioned your authentic self. You hear that a lot come out of his mouth.
He's black, isn't he? And the other guy's brown. Is that right?
Yes, black
Yes.
and brown. Yeah.
Thom. I think it's Thom.
Tom.
Yeah. Tom Black, Dave Brown. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's always
authentic self. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always mentioned show up as your authentic self. And that's how you'll get the clients.
Heather,
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, just give me some quick insight. How did you get to where you are with the way that you are? Was it you doing the effortless way human design? What was it that you feel made the big difference? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was able to do what you're doing just in your presence, 100% effective. Like 100% effective. And if there's any insight you can give me on how you got to that place, and it could have been an experience you had, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, help me out here because I love your energy and how you present yourself. Like, that's what I want to be able to do because I know that that's going to be a closer right there.
So for me, my biggest change came when, ironically, I started doing TIR. So I was doing TIR as a client, and over time, that has definitely changed me. I'm a very, very different person to who I was. So my past career is actually as a UK detective. So that helped me get to know how to talk and communicate with people from all different, levels of life, from those that don't have to those, that have. And but it also got me into being a very sort of suspicious, skeptical, and sometimes a negative person. And my brain would always be thinking, oh my god, what are they up to over there, and I'll be thinking always the worst. So TIR really changed me big time. First did the paradigm shift, and then I did TIR. I did TIR as a client a few times because my mentor did like a subscription afterwards where you could come in on the lessons. You pay a certain amount a month, and then you just sort of went through the lessons and cycled again. And then I went into the consultancy side. And then I think the next biggest change was one of those impacts that Bob talks about. It's either going to be a big impact or it's going to be the constant spaced repetition. And I had a big impact with my health, and I carried on sort of studying and doing what I could sort of through that time. And again, I think, give me a very different perspective. And yes, again, softened who I was and allowed me to come through. The human design side came in as an eye-opener as to the more individuality side of me, sort of like it is going into the types of people that we are, and it combines sort of different methods. So astrology. Oh, now my brain's going. You see. You'll have to look at it anyway. There's 4 sort of methods in there to do with yourself, and this is how you start to understand exactly how very, 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 very unique you are, and some hidden talents that you've got, and then how you can start become aware and start using them to attract clients, how to come across to people, how to appear on social media, and understanding, where your energy comes from. So it is a rabbit hole. So just be very aware of that. Just keep looking at yourself. But that then, helped me understand me again at a very different level and a very different perspective. And I think the biggest thing is I've continued talking to people. It doesn't matter whether, they're going to be a client or not. I've continued helping people. They may not sign up, doesn't matter. I've still helped people to achieve things that they wanted. There was this lady over in the States for years. She'd been trying to get this sort of promotion, and she tried absolutely everything. And she had this sort of dream. If she got that, then she'd be able to get, the house and so on. And she spoke to me for an hour, and she didn't sign up. She went for the job interview. She got the job. She's got the house. And that was, I think, well, that's just great. She didn't sign up, but from just having that conversation with me, she was able to achieve all of that. And so that's just great. So it's having those conversations, and it's not holding back, it's not forcing it, but it's having those conversations and constantly having it up here and then talking it, and obviously doing it, taking the action. But I think if you're talking it, you are taking action because you're giving value straight away.
Yeah,
I love that.
Maybe
the impression of
yeah.
increase. The
Yeah,
impression of
yeah.
increase. That's huge.
Always.
I'm
helping somebody at the moment with it, and it's making a huge impact, on his life. He had a terrible head injury, and it all happened within his job. He's the principal of a school here, of the school that my daughter attends, and he's 10 months on, and he's struggling, big time, where he's going to extensively lose his career. And he was getting some help on the Western sort of side of life, medical and all of that, the very rigid side. And I just sat down and started talking to him and said, what is it you want? And that was it. Floodgates opened up. The bloke was in tears, and he said, nobody's ever asked me that. And I said, well, simple.
Wow.
Write it down. Write it down. And I'm just continuing to help him, every week. And he's a different person, just because, somebody's actually, as I say, talking to the inner Eric. Eric's his name. So I said, I want to talk to the inner Eric. I don't want to talk to all of this other stuff that's going on. Let's just talk to the inner side of you, because that's what we need to get to.
Yeah,
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm speechless. That's amazing.
So
Yeah, it's so good. It also doesn't, it's not just about validating, it reinforces your subconscious mind's understanding of what you want to do and who you are and what you're capable of doing, doesn't it? When you achieve something for somebody else, and it then reinforces the belief in the subconscious mind and the paradigm of being able to get results for people, being able to shift people, help, really knowing we can help because we know something.
Yeah.
Well, I thought my impression. Yeah, I'm sorry, Heather, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say you will find it if you, as Bob says, you keep learning about yourself. You will find what you need to be doing, as in what works for you. How to come across, how to behave, how to be. I mean, it's not only being about the person at the end goal. Who do you want to be? The more you know about yourself, You know, so just keep searching, just keep sort of, you know, looking for that. And we change. And I sort of think, gosh, who am I going to be next? You know, what part of me is going to be more sort of like authentic? What else is going to come out?
Yeah.
You know,
Who else is going to show up
and
from inside of me? Yeah.
yeah. So it's, you know, if you'd met me when I was sort of like in my 20s, you know, such a different person. I mean, I was a nice person, you know, I wasn't some horrible sort of, you know, cop going around, you know, beating people up or anything. We don't do that. We're British, don't you know? But you know, we just
Really?
it is. It's just amazing.
Yeah, you know,
Back then
I
we
think
didn't.
what this speaks to, I think, you know, Corey, from your question and Heather, your answer, is that when we do what Bob tells us to do, go out and speak to people and ask people, what do you want? And help them, want to help them, that part inside of us starts to come to the surface. And then we create that paradigm, we create that understanding and knowing just by keep going out, talking to people, helping them, asking them what they want, and building that understanding and belief that we can do that and that we can change people's lives. And then that authentic side of us starts to show up. So long as we don't listen to the negative stuff about, I can't do this, I'm not good at this, and who am I to do this? Just keep going out there, and it builds that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Bob has always mentioned it's like, you know, the best study you can do is studying yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and,
Yeah, definitely.
just listen to those paradigms, because I know my paradigm, you know, it's like my biggest one that I've written down throughout the workbooks pretty consistently is like, what are the people going to think?
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all had that, and that's like I've noticed a repetition of that happening throughout the workbook.
Yeah,
I had a big one with that, yeah, and I still do in relation to what my ex-police colleagues would say, because, you know, I'm sure that they would, you know, rip me up a little bit about it and, you know, have a laugh and a joke, and but now where I'm at, I don't care, and now I'm putting more of that stuff on my personal Facebook page, whereas before I was very sort of but a lot of them, you know, they're commenting, they're liking it, they're supporting it, signing up now to my newsletter, which is great. And yeah, I just had to remember, well, you know, I'm just a very different person, you know, now. This is who I am. I'm showing up, you know, for me, and I'm showing up because what I can do, I know I can help somebody. Now, somebody might pay, somebody might not.
That's what's important, though, Heather. I think, you know, the whole idea of taking action, right? When we start to do and not just learn, but start to do and practice it, we get to become more aware of ourselves, right? And we get more comfortable with our new role, our different role. And once we get comfortable, then we just keep doing it and build that. It's, you know, exactly what Bob and Doug and everybody has been teaching around PGI. We've got to start doing something. We've got to start doing something that's going to bring that new self out from inside of us and create that habit through the routine, through the, you know, like Corey, you were saying, you know, doing something every day. What are we doing every day that brings that self-awareness and builds that new identity, that self-image of who we are, who we want to be, and observing our own growth by helping other people, which is going to be me segueing into, what are we doing this week?
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm sorry, I'm almost getting emotional just thinking about this and this whole, you know, end of it, you know, just, you know, gaining that confidence through repetition of action. You know, I think that's huge right there. Just, you know, understand the terror barrier. You know, understand the terror barrier.
I would never do reels before, David, but I do them now. I keep them very simple, but I would never do reels before. I thought, God, there's nothing more embarrassing, you know, but I do them now. I did a funny one, you know, I included my daughter, you know, making it look like she'd slapped my face, you know, and I thought it was hilarious, and I didn't care, you know, how many people watched it. It's just sort of like testing, you know, the waters, and seeing, you know, how much I'm prepared to sort of push myself to do in front of the camera. And these people really, they don't know me, you know, and who cares? It's, you know, it's for fun.
Who cares?
Yeah, really.
Have fun with it.
You know?
So yeah, David, that's a really good thing that you said, that phrase, you know, to build confidence through repetition of action beyond the terror barrier. to go beyond the terror barrier. Yeah.
So yeah, back to the action steps for this week. I think for myself, I'm going to start reaching out to my warm market. At least do 5 a day into my warm market. Post something on my Facebook every day. Something, you know, and do 3 to 4 lives. Just to get that ball rolling, you know, a little bit. And I want to get on a sales call this week with an actual prospect.
Yep, those are all good things. That's great. That's a really good agenda of things to do. Yeah, get on a sales call.
Get on a sales call.
Yeah,
this week.
have the goal cause it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
I'm gonna be completely honest with all of you, and I'm just gonna be completely honest. Having just being in your presence, all 3 of you, I've gone to another level. I really appreciate you guys.
That's really
great.
great of you to say that, Corey. And yeah, you're right. We're on a different level because we're having this conversation. Like you said, we don't have anywhere else. And by the 4 of us being together, having this conversation and providing the listening for each other, it takes us to another frequency. Yeah, it's a good thing to see, good thing to call out.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyone else going to take some action steps this week?
Sure. Yeah. So hey, we're going to be watching Roadmap lesson 2, right?
Mhm.
Video 2, module 2, whatever he calls it. So I'm going to have 3 sales calls this week. Yep. And I'm going to start posting regularly on LinkedIn as I build my profile. Yep. And I am signing another client this month, so I'm not sure if it's next week or the week after, but I am signing another client because I said so.
Love it. I am. It just says the power of awareness. I am.
Yep. Yep. So that's me.
Corey?
I'm gonna be honest, if I can keep doing this, I've done it for 2 days. If I can keep going with this 4:30 TIR, watching the lesson video, working out, and talking to more people, that for me it's a big deal because lately I feel like I go down a rabbit hole like you've been talking about, Heather, where I'm reading Power of Awareness, I'm going over here, I'm reading that, I'm doing this, I'm calling this person, I'm doing that, and it's just like rapid fire. And I feel like just in the past 2 days, it's like, no, focus on this, do this, now move to this, now move to this. And I feel like I've become more effective, way more effective, like laser beam focused.
Good place to be. Yeah. Do that. 4:30 every day. Well, that's good. Heather?
For me, I'm going to continue sticking with the plan that I have mapped out because in there are a lot of things I wasn't doing. So there's a lot of paradigms for me to work on. And so I'm going to stick with that so that I can carry on building up my networking and sort of connections again. So it's all about getting me back out there and getting consistency. And that's what I'm going to continue to work on for myself.
Cool. Getting back out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is good. Consistency. Good. Hey, well, we showed up this week. This is good.
Awesome. Awesome. So I will try to get this recording on the WhatsApp app. Like I said, I'm still kind of, I'm kind of computer illiterate just a bit. Maybe I'll ask my 10-year-old son how I could do this.
Yeah, that's good. But you got us here today. So that's the main thing for now, David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can get it, from on my computer onto on my phone. I'm going to try to do that. I don't know if it's going to be too much of a.
You'll sort it out. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll just use the WhatsApp group to figure out who's hosting the next call next week.
Okay.
We'll sort that out so that everyone's part of the conversation. And we are sticking with the same accountability partners for now as agreed last week.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Well, let's simplify that for now. Yeah. All right. Good. Great. David, thank you for hosting this.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
Corey,
for
Heather,
coming and
thank you for
showing up.
being here.
Yeah, thanks,
This
guys.
has been a great conversation.
Yeah, amazing conversation. Just the whole
Looking forward to the
vibration
next one.
Huh?
I,
Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
I know we could keep talking for ages, but yeah.
Yeah. My son's upstairs watching TV, matter of fact, so I gotta get him off of it.
All right. All right.
All right, guys.
Have
Catch
a
you
great
soon.
week, everybody, and we'll see each other again next week.
Yeah, have an amazing
Thank-
weekend, Gordon. I'll be in touch, Corey.
thank you guys.
Bye for now.
See you
Yeah.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.